Hey everyone, it's Chase here. Welcome back to my channel. Just to let you know, I do have my fan on and I'm keeping it on. So if you hear it, I am so sorry, but it is too hot, okay? Like, this is the hottest summer I have ever experienced in my life. I mean, I don't know, but it feels like it, okay? I don't know about where everyone is from right now, but in New York, it is so unbelievably hot. Okay, anyways. Okay, that's just me venting. I'm also very hungry right now, but I want to film this video. I filmed it already, but I'm filming it again because I didn't like how it looked in the last video. So whatever. Anywho, today we're doing a video about my favorite books, like a good little handful, a good little chunk of some of my favorite reads that I never really talk about here on my channel or much on any of my social media platforms. So yeah, let's talk about it. The first one I have is Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry. I hope this is showing on camera for like, I don't know, it might be a little shiny. But anyways, Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry by Joy Goffney. This is YA contemporary romance. This book is just black girl magic, black boy joy. I love it so much. It makes me so happy. I'm currently rereading it and I'm just having such a good time, truly. I was reading it all day yesterday on set in between breaks and I was just so happy. I was just in my element, just having the best time. Yeah, this is one of those books where it's like written, oh my gosh, I don't know, of course y'all can't hear my stomach growling, but I feel like you can. I'm so hungry. Anywho, this book is written by us, for us, you know, it doesn't overly explain the black experience because if you're black and you're reading this, you just know. Nothing needs to be explained, you just know. And I think if you follow me on my Instagram, you know how I feel about like BIPOC authors writing for more of a white audience, okay? She writes for her black girlies, okay? And I just love it so much. Of course, if you're not black, you can obviously read this book and you should, but just saying, like, this book is just written for us, written by us, and I just love it so much. Okay, let me tell you what it's about. I have my notes right here in front of me. You guys know how it is. So, Quinn keeps lists of everything from the days she ugly cried to things that she would never admit out loud to all the boys she'd like to kiss. Her lists keep her sane. By writing her fears on paper, she never has to face them in real life. That is until her journal goes missing. Then an anonymous person blackmails her into completing a to-do list of all her worst fears. The last person to have her journal was Carter Bennett, so even though she doesn't trust him, she teams up with him to look for her journal and find out who's blackmailing her. This is a cute little enemies to lovers type of vibe. I love it so much. I love these characters. It's just so cute. It's just everything. I just love it. Definitely my #1 favorite YA contemporary book. Yeah. I think this is one, like, even though like sometimes I'm not in the mood for YA, but this one right here just proved that I'm always in the mood for this specific YA book. Okay, so next one I have is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is adult historical fiction. While I was writing my notes for this, I was tearing up. Like, that's how much I loved this book. It's just thinking about it makes me emotional. Okay, let me tell you. 4 famous siblings throw an epic party in 1983 to celebrate the end of summer, but over the course of 24 hours, their lives will change forever. Honestly, who cares about the freaking party? Okay, this book is about so much more than that. I'm not very close to my siblings. I have 4 sisters and I love them very much, but we're all very much closer to our friends than we are to each other. So when I read about books that have a large or a good chunk of siblings that are very close, it just touches my heart so much. Like, it just does something for me. Oh, I just love it. Like, it warms my heart so much. And on Goodreads, in the synopsis, it focuses heavily on this party that takes place. It's just so much more than that party. This book is about Nina, Jay, Hud, and Kit, these 4 siblings, and about how they were raised and about the parents who raised them. So good. Such a good book. It's a great summer read as well. Oh, I just love it. Okay, so the next book I have is Anxious People by Frederick Backman. This book is adult, mystery, contemporary, literary fiction, all of the things combined. This book is just so good. I love it so much. Let me tell you what it's about. This book is about a crime that never took place, a would-be bank robber who disappears into thin air, and 8 extremely anxious strangers who find they have more in common than they ever imagined. Viewing an apartment normally doesn't turn into a life or death situation, but this particular open house becomes just that when a failed bank robber bursts in and takes everyone in the apartment hostage. As the pressure mounts, the 8 strangers begin slowly opening up to one another and revealing long-hidden truths. Yep. This book was so much more than I ever expected. The synopsis on Goodreads gives way too much information. It tells you about certain characters and what they're going through or whatever. Do not read that. Just listen to what I have told you about what it's about and just go into it not knowing anything else. Okay, this book, it will surprise you with how good it is. It had me laughing, it had me crying. It's funny, it's relatable, it's sad, it's heart-wrenching. It's so good. Look up trigger warnings because there are some serious topics, but you will be laughing. Like, you will be laughing reading this, but you may shed a tear or two, okay? So yeah, I just love it, and it was so well written. Like, definitely one of the best written books that I own. So good, so phenomenal. Just loved it. Next, I have The Stars and the Blackness Between Them by Junauda Petrus. This is YA, magical realism, contemporary romance. So good. Okay. In Trinidad, Audrey has just found out that she's going to be sent to live in America with her father because her strictly religious mother caught her with her secret girlfriend. However, Audrey's grandmother, Queenie, tries to reassure her that she won't lose her roots, not even in some place called Minneapolis. I just have a hard time saying that place. Minneapolis. Anyways, in Minneapolis, Mabel is dealing with her own questions of her sexuality and also dealing with some health issues. But all those conflicting thoughts come to a halt when Mabel's father announces that his best friend and daughter are coming for dinner. With their romance that blossoms, Mabel and Audrey truly take care of each other. There's a third point of view in this book, and I can't tell you who that third point of view is, but just know that that third POV is the reason why this book made it at the top of the list as one of my all-time favorite books ever. Like, it definitely, that third POV definitely is an example of the Black American experience, and, you know, had me shedding some tears. I just love this book. I know some Caribbean people have an issue with the patois in this book, but to me personally, it doesn't bother me at all because this book is so good as a whole. I just think, I don't know, that's just like a minor thing that I feel like shouldn't overshadow all the other amazing things about this book. But, you know, to each their own, and you're valid in your opinion completely, but that's just my thought on it. But yeah, I really love this book so much. When I was writing my notes, I was actually tearing up while thinking about this book too. So good. So good. Okay, so lastly we have the Villains Duology by V. Schwab. We have Vicious and Vengeful. I know, paperback and hardcover. I got this in my early bookish days when I didn't really care about matching my books, okay? I have grown, I have learned, I know better. But yeah, this duology is so good. This is adult, paranormal, sci-fi, thriller-esque, I'd say. Yeah, let me tell you what it's about. This book is about Victor and Eli, who started out as college roommates during their senior year for their thesis. They were doing some research about near-death experiences that could result in supernatural extraordinary abilities. But when their thesis moves from academic to experimental, things go horribly wrong. 10 years later, Victor breaks out of prison, determined to catch up to his old friend, now foe. Okay, so this book goes back and forth from 10 years ago when they're in college doing their thesis and to present day when they're like 31-ish. And yeah, some things happen. And these two characters are very much villains. Do not read the synopsis on Goodreads. Just take what I told you and read it from there. When I read this, I went into it not knowing much at all, and I'm very happy that I did. Such a good little duology. And there's rumors that it's going to turn into a trilogy. The way it ends, there definitely is room to keep it going. So I really hope that V. Schwab's does make a third book. Yeah, it's just so good. These two main characters, Victor and Eli, they're very much villains. Okay, so my camera just cut off. But what I was saying, Okay, so these two characters, they're very much villainous characters, 100%. I'd say one of the characters, he's a little bit, just a little bit morally gray. Okay, and then the other one, he's just straight up a villain and he twists things in his mind to believe that what he does is right. And I really loved these books so much because you really get to see what it's like to be in the mind of a villain. Oh my gosh, outside is so noisy. I'm sorry, y'all. It's gonna be like this in every video. It just is what it is. But yeah, these two characters, like, it was so interesting to really understand like what villains think and what they believe to be right, and what their motives are, what drives their motives, you know? Loved it so very much. My friend, he's quite a critic, okay? He is very hard to impress. And I remember when I read these books years ago, we were at work and I was telling him about a scene from the second book, Vengeful, and he was very much impressed by that scene and he was like really interested in it. He actually looked it up while we were at work because he was so intrigued by that one scene that I told him, and I was like, okay, if he likes just that one scene alone, then you know these books are good, okay? So if my friend, who is such a tough critic, is interested in these books, he should be too, okay? These are very popular books. I know everyone already knows about the Villains Duology, but some of you have not read it though, okay? If anything, like, save it for spooky season. It's a good vibe. Also back to school season, I don't know. It's a good vibe, whatever, just read it. But yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, sorry if you can hear my fan. It's just so hot. My friend actually just texted me saying, Sharice, I heard it's so hot in New York. So I'm going to respond to him, and I need to eat something. I'm so hungry. Okay, now I'm just rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.